So, has the live stream started, Sheldon? We can proceed. Sheldon, has the live stream started? Can we start? Okay, I think it's already time. So, without further ado, let us begin with today's program. Uh, we are the Vasco Legal Aid Cell, and as a part of the campaign to create election literacy amongst mostly first-time voters, and today we have a lot of first-time voters with us who have joined in to listen in to this webinar. Our topic for the day is a very important topic. That is, what is the importance of voting? And voting is mostly done by a voter. So, what are the rights and what are the responsibilities of a voter? Uh, it is very important to also understand that every vote is significant. It is very important. It is very important to understand that voting is also a mode of communication. So, if you want to create a change in the society, if you want to create a change in the way the things are, you can use your vote. A vote is a very powerful tool in such a scenario. Uh, One more thing we wish to convey via this webinar is the fact that if you do not want to vote for anybody, you can use the option called none of the above, nota. So sometimes you may find candidates that you don't want to vote for, or the list is not to your liking. You can always exercise an option called nota. And we will also be going through the rights and responsibilities of a voter. So many of these things you will be made aware of via today's webinar. So, first of all, I would request my fellow member, Riddhi Moge, to please introduce the topic for us. Riddhi?
Yes. Uh, Good evening, everyone. So, as we all know, that India is a democratic country and follows the democratic parliamentary system. And in a democracy, a government is formed through election. Election is a way wherein people choose their candidates and or the representatives who are going to represent them and their our side of preferences. So, as we all know, it is one of the founding pillars of our nation, and India and our constitutional right has given us that every citizen about the age of 18 has been given the right to vote. There are people in our country, however, who are genuinely interested to know how this electoral system works and genuinely pay attention to the process and make sure that they are voting voluntarily. But there are people also who sit back and relax, considering the day of election is considered to be a public holiday. And on the other side, there are also people who are persuaded to vote only to a specific candidate. We have been granted this right, but all we do is sit back, relax, and do not pay attention to how the system works. All we do is complain about how the government should work or should not work or what it should do. But when the election day appears, half of the population do not cast their vote and do not pay attention to it. We should know that this relationship between the leaders who are standing for election and we as voters is a relationship of give and take. We want them to fulfill their work and their duties for us, and we should make sure that we vote to a particular candidate who seems to be a proper leader and who will represent us. Democracy has given people a powerful right, and that is the right to vote. And even though this option is not made compulsory, it is our moral duty that we should stand up for our own self and make sure that we are electing the perfect leader for our nation. we should make sure that this privilege which has been given to us is benefiting us at a very good level, and we should also be thankful that we are in a democratic nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Riddhi, for uh, kind of introducing the topic really well. Uh, and Riddhi very nicely said that we need to elect the best candidate. And when we elect the best candidate, what is the most important thing? We need to know that to elect the best candidate, everybody needs to vote for the best candidate. So that means every vote that you cast is significant. Many a times people say that my one vote is not important. Not true. Every one vote is very much important. In fact, if everybody votes, if 100% of the total voters vote, then we will actually come to know what the people want. So to tell us more about this, I would like to request my friend Mahadev to please unmute and tell us about how every vote is significant.
Um, so every vote or every single vote is significant. So every citizen's vote is counted in the polling process. So it simply means that the every single vote is counted and it matters. So if a person are equally divided between two candidates, so one single vote can be a game changer and can be a decisive factor. So one principle, one vote is a principle of representation. That means that vote of every single individual should be worth no more or less than the other vote. So every individual has given a opportunity to vote, and one vote, one person vote is not less than the other. So every vote is equal. So we have seen in the past how one vote from an MP can decide the fall of the government. So exactly the same way, a single individual's vote can confirm the win or fall of any aspiring MP or MLA. So the such instance was held in the past. There was this one instance in 2008 uh, in assembly election in Rajasthan where Chief CP Joshi was CP Joshi lost the 2008 election just by one vote. So this shows that how individuals vote are like important and it does matter. So one quote has been given by Barack Obama. So it says that there's no such thing as a vote that doesn't matter. It all matters. So this uh, famous quote was given by Barack Obama. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mahadev. In fact, there was a similar situation in Goa once, where I think the constituency was the Benaulim constituency, where both the candidates got equal number of votes, and after which there was a recount, and in that recount, candidate A won the election, and in the second recount, candidate B won the election. So the High Court then held that for half term, that is 2.5 years, one person becomes the MLA, and for the next 2.5 years, the other person became the MLA because it was so close. That's why one vote is very important, because otherwise, sometimes it can become overwhelmingly in one side. So you can voice your opinion with your one vote. So if every vote is significant, as told to us by Mahadev, if every vote is significant, does the vote that you cast, does it mean that you are the origin of change? What is change? Many a times, say for example, you will not like the way a particular government functions. Like for example, in the year 2014, we saw that there was this wave against the government, incumbent government. Now how are you the origin of change? You are the origin of change by casting your vote. Now, to tell us more about this, I would like to request my friend Gayatri to please tell us how voting can be the origin of change, how you can be the origin of change by casting your vote. Gayatri?
Thank you, Sherwin. So, as Mahadev said, that every vote counts. So now, how your vote can be a origin of change. So, one of the medium through which you can fight for yourself is protest. The another way is, if you want some change in the government, you can vote, and that is highly an effective medium to have a change that you want to see in the government. Okay, like if you are unhappy with your present government, you can vote, and for a better one. Okay, you can vote for a better representative, you can vote for a better party. If you have the attitude that my vote doesn't matter, what big difference will become if I don't vote, that will lead to the same government coming into power once again. Same problems you'll have to face all over again you will be struck with the same government or the same representative for another 5 years. So it is not that it is not that government needs to be blamed. It is the people who need to be blamed for not voting at all or for choosing the bad government. Okay, so see that you vote without getting bribed. See that you vote by looking at the progress of the representative. In recent years, we have seen there have been people are getting educated, and there have been large increase in the percentage of the voters. So, and people are truly loving this. People know that they are the change makers. They have the right to choose their representatives. So now most of you here will be almost attained 18 years and will be casting your first vote. So see that you cast your vote wisely. Okay, because that will be beneficial for you as well as your future, for our state, for our nation. So see that you do cast your vote wisely. While I was surfing through the social media yesterday, I found this lovely quote. So अगर उंगली पे दाग लगने से अच्छी सरकार बन सकती है तो वो दाग अच्छे है. So see that you take that dark on your finger and cast your vote in your upcoming election, because that is your right. Thank you.
Very nicely said, Gayatri. Thank you so much. Uh, and I think what she said is very true, because many of us, if when you talk to the youth of today, the first time voters who are 18 years old, many of them say, I don't have interest in the political system. I have no interest in the electoral system. But your vote counts. And sometimes many of us may know that uh, when you go to vote, or you have the list of candidates now, all the nominations have been filed and withdrawals are done, so we know who is contesting the elections. So now suppose, say, you have around 5 to 6 candidates in your constituency. You don't want to vote for anybody. There is the option of none of the above. So you don't want to vote for none of the candidates, you can vote for none of the above. And to tell us more about this option of none of the above, I would like to request my friend Sheldon to please tell us about what is none of the above, and what is its significance. Sheldon, please.
Yeah, hi. So my topic for today is none of the above, which is popularly known as NOTA. So the government of India has made the provision for voters to exercise their vote even if they are not happy with any of the candidates. At times it's all possible that one does not want any single candidate to be elected from the list of the people who are contesting. So the election commission has made a special provision called as NOTA, which, like I said, stands for none of the above. If n- if if none of the candidates who you fit into your criteria or your personal criteria of choosing whom you want to vote, you can just hit the nota button and voice your opinion. So introduction of this alternative is believed to play a significant role in the future. So what happens is this shows that every vote truly matters, and in the late future it may be also possible that the nota will decide the re-elections with fresh candidates. So the Supreme Court has stated that if the right to vote is a statutory right, then the right to reject the candidate is a fundamental right of speech and expression under the Constitution. The main objective of NOTA is to enable electors who do not wish to vote for any of the candidates to exercise their right to reject without violation of the secrecy of their decision. The voter must be eligible to register a vote of rejection if they feel that the contesting candidates do not deserve to be voted for. The right to vote granted to all citizens must allow the vote of disapproval also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sheldon. That was very well said. Uh, Sometimes the right to vote is a statutory right, but the right to reject a candidate is the fundamental right to freedom and fundamental right to expression. So it's a very nicely put there. Uh, and I think Nota is a very important tool because maybe in current electoral trends, you find that Nota may either come last or Nota may come second last because in the constituency of Vasco, where most of us are from, Nota has always had a substantial number. If you see the trends of the last few elections, Nota always gets above 800 votes. So that means around 1,000 votes. So uh, what I'm trying to say is the option of Nota basically gives you the opportunity to tell most of the candidates on that list that there are people in this constituency that don't want you. And that being said, our constituencies are very small constituencies. There is 30,000 voters per constituency, which means that if at least 1,000 people say, that means it's quite a substantial number of people that do not want the candidates who are bidding to represent them. Now, whether you vote Nota or whether you vote for a candidate, you have to vote. And what does this vote do? This vote empowers you personally. That means your vote basically decides the future of your own constituency, and it helps you develop your own constituency because you voted for the candidate that is right to you. Now, to talk about how personal empowerment accompanies voting, I would like to request my friend Samiksha to please unmute and talk to us about this.
Okay. Hello everyone. Myself Samiksha and I will be dealing with the topic personal empowerment by voting. So to start with, voting is a basic process that keeps a nation's governmental system under check and enables the citizen to choose their representatives, own representatives. So by voting through representatives they choose, a citizen can also have a say in important issues in growth, development and advancement. Moreover, voting gives people the opportunity to voice their opinion on issues which matters the most. So the feeling of empowerment is surely progressive and liberating. Further, benefits such as better health conditions, reduced unemployment, and lower recidivism rate further show why voting is an important responsibility that reaps a plethora of results and opportunities. Last but not the least, it is our right, benefit, and obligation to vote as a citizen of the nation and an individual of the society, and to make a better decision that is informed and cast your vote with the confidence to bring in the best government for the people of the nation. Thank you.
Very rightly said, Samiksha. You cast a vote to determine the future of your nation. And whether you vote for Nota, whether you vote for a candidate, the responsibility of your vote is on you. So if you vote for the right candidate, it is better for you because it is your constituency and your fellow people who can reap the benefits of a good candidate who works for the people. uh, Now, along with personal empowerment, there is a certain pride that I have voted, because you see, when somebody goes to vote, if you see many of the celebrities, when they go to vote, they will click a photograph like this and put it on their Instagram or on their Facebook, saying that I have voted. And why do they do this? Many of them do that because they need content to upload on their social media, but many a times this is also done to encourage many people to feel proud after voting. And why should you not feel proud? Because you have voted for the future of your constituency, you have voted for the future of your nation and for your state. Because sometimes you may vote for an independent candidate can win from your constituency, and that person could could be the major deciding factor in forming the next government. So your vote has counted, and your vote has made a huge impression and made a huge statement. So there is a pride in that. And to talk about this, I would like to request Sneha to please talk to us about how you get the sense of pride after voting. Why do we need to feel proud after voting? Sneha,
Yes,
please
we
jump
are
in.
lucky to.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
We are lucky to have an opportunity to vote for the candidate we want, a person who will be committed to his duties, fulfill all his promises to the public that he has made. We must honor this right of voting given by the Constitution of India. The Constitution has granted this right to vote to all the citizens above the age of 18. The new generation voters have shown that voting right is not just a responsibility but a style statement also. The first time voters after voting feel more empowered and responsible, as they will also be playing a role in deciding who governs the state and the country. They will have a say in the democratic process. Youngsters get so excited, especially the first time voters, just to put ink their index fingers and click selfies and posting these things on the social media. Even social media has been playing a important role in changing the minds of the people. Like they see everyone sharing pics, images on the platforms, which make them feel to do the same. This has become a trend not just between the youngsters but also within the elders too. Some of them stationed outside, they make it a point that they come visit the city and cast their vote, because we youngsters also have a huge role at determining the future of the country. But there are some who are not interested in politics, like moving out of their home just to stay at home. As we have holiday on this day, they try to enjoy instead of voting. For the first time voters, it is something new. They get a little nervous and confused, but there is nothing to get confused of. We have to think carefully about, look at their performances of the parties and the candidate to do whatever you feel right. Look at the performance, the people promises that they have made. Some of them wait for this opportunity just to turn 18 and give vote. Now even even the media records the experiences of the voters, especially the first time voters. Now we sure need a change, but we need a change for the better. Thank you.
very true. And nowadays, you need not actually always go to the polling booth to vote. You can even vote via postal ballot. And now these days, many of you who are actually involved in campaigns will know that the postal ballot system, I think the people are coming to collect your vote these days, the postal ballot votes. So there are various ways in which you can feel proud. And one way is to vote, either by going to the polling booth to vote, or either by sending your ballot via post or via other ways. And voting is available not only to the young to be the trend setters and by posting their photographs with the ink on their index finger, but it is available to even the most old, and it's available to people with disabilities. So everybody can feel proud. It's not just that people who can vote can feel proud. Everybody has the right to feel proud. Now, as it has been rightly said that you feel proud after casting your vote, uh, how can voting be a channel via which you can voice out your, wherein people can listen to your voice and you can make your voice heard? There are very many different ways. Now this, what I'm trying to tell you, is basically for those who want to play an active role in the political system and in the public policy system. Now, as it is said, if you want to involve yourself in the political system, if you want to involve yourself in campaigns, there are a few things you need to know first. First is you need to have an idea and a grasp on what are the political issues in that particular place. Like, for example, in Vasco, there are many different issues. I do not want to raise them because it may sound politically wrong. But there are many different issues that political issues that people face. Like, for example, there are certain ways that there are certain allegations that the roads are not proper, the air is polluted, so many different kind of things that are political issues. So if you want to influence a campaign or influence the agenda of a particular candidate, what you need to do is you need to be well versed with the issues that you want to lobby for with the particular candidate. The next thing you need to do is you need to be with in connect with the people. You need to talk to people. You need to talk to people and understand what is what they want, because sometimes something that you want is not what the people want, and what the people want is always the right thing. So always you need to talk to the people. You need to have a brief idea of what the society wants, over and above what you want. Now, the best thing now, once these two things are done, what you can do is you can draft up your policy, your manifesto, based on your research and your analysis of the issues that the people are facing, and you can go and present them to the various candidates, and the various candidates can promise to implement those things via their manifesto. Like, for example, if you go to a place called Maimole in Vasco, uh, many people will tell you that we need to beautify the lake. So you need to read up on what are the possible ways of beautifying a lake, what are the issues involved, what is the cost involved, what is the public expenditure involved, and then you could probably draft a policy on the matter and give it to the various candidates so that they can implement it in their manifesto. So these are few ways that you can influence a campaign, or you can try and get candidates who may probably get elected in the future to do something that the people face as a political issue. Now, if you want to go one step further, you can even join in on campaigns. You can join the campaign of, say, candidate A, and you can campaign for that person because he is raising a particular issue. Like, for example, there are people who love the environment, love their forests, love the greenery. So, if there is a candidate who says that I will ensure that there is zero pollution in Vasco, I will ensure that there is zero cutting of trees in the city, I will make sure that there is more forest coverage in the Mormugao Taluka, then you could probably campaign for that person. If that person says that I will increase job opportunities, and if you are technically unemployed, what you can do is you can campaign for that person because that person has an employment policy in place. So these are some of the ways that you can make your voice heard, rather than because voting is a way that you can make your voice heard. Another way is to influence voters who also face the same issues that you do. And that one way to do that is by researching on that particular topic. And another way is to talk to the people, understand what the people want. Now, these things include certain responsibilities. Now, it is our duty as a citizen to judge the character of the person who wants to contest the elections. So we need to be responsible. We need to perform our civic duty, and that civic duty is by electing the right person who is best for your constituency and who's raising the particular political issues that are important for your constituency. Now, as this voting and by making your voice heard, there are certain responsibilities and rights that accompany it. So, to talk about the various rights and responsibilities of a voter, I would like to request my friend Ruchika to please tell us about it. Ruchika, please unmute yourself.
So, hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Shavin. So, I'll be discussing with the rights of a voter and the responsibilities of a voter. So, each registered voter in the state has certain rights that are his rights because he's a voter. So, he has a right to vote and have his vote counted accurately, ask for and receive assistance at the time of voting, He has a right to get any explanation, if his or her registration or identity is in question. He also has a right to basically ask for any instructions in writing or orally when he is going to vote from the election officers present at the polling booth. He has a right to vote free from any kind of intimidation from any political party or any person. Also, he has a right to vote on a voting system that is in a working condition so that his vote is counted. As Sherwin and the other members have already emphasized on how important one vote is, it is important that at the time of exercising your right, you vote in a voting system or a voting ballot which is in a working condition. So these are some rights that you need to exercise as a voter. Apart from that, as a voter, you also have certain responsibilities. So each registered voter basically in this state should familiarize himself or herself with the candidates and issues and understand which candidate is addressing which issue in the particular area that he is living or contesting in. The voter also has to maintain a current address with the office of the supervisor of elections. He should know the location of his or her polling booth and the hours of its operations. Bring proper identification to the polling stations, familiarize himself or herself with the operations of the voting equipment in his or her precinct, treat the election officers with courtesy, respect the privacy of others. Apart from that, he also has a responsibility to report any kind of problems or violations of election laws to the supervisor of the elections. He also has a responsibility to ask any questions as and when needed at the time of the voting. He also has to make sure that his or her completed ballot is correct before leaving the polling station. Apart from these responsibilities, I feel that during these times of the pandemic, another very important responsibility that you as a voter should have is cover yourself with a proper mask, follow all SOPs, and try to go times wherein there is less crowd. So that way the full election process can go in smoothly without any COVID cases, and we all can stay safe at the same time, exercise our rights, and fulfill all our responsibilities as well. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruchika. It's very true that because during COVID, many a times there are certain SOPs that are to be followed, and we need to learn to respect these SOPs. We need to respect the election officers who are upholding these SOPs. So let's be kind to them because they are also taking out a lot of their personal time, investing a lot of energy to make sure that we cast our vote and make our voice heard. So we are all open to questions. So Adit, I think you've raised your hand. So if you want to ask a question, you can please raise your hand and ask a question. Adit? Okay, Adit has is not responding. Jaideep has raised his hand. Jaideep, do you want? I'm a first-time voter. How do I find my polling booth? You will be. They will let you know what is your polling booth. The Election Commission of India will let you know which is your polling booth. The BLO will come around and tell you which is your polling booth. You need not worry about that. You're welcome, Jaideep. Any other questions? No other questions? All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. This is a small attempt from our end to make sure that everybody votes and that the voter of Vasco, the young voter of Vasco, turns up at the polling station and makes their voice heard. Because Vasco is a very young city, and we have many young people in this audience who are mostly first time voters, so we need everybody to turn up at the polling booths and vote and make their voice heard. With that, I would like to thank you all. I wish you a very good weekend. Hope you have a nice time, and on the 14th of February, please go and vote and make your voice heard. uh, Now, I would request the members of the legal aid cell to please stay back, and all the audience to please leave the meeting. Thank you so much, everyone.